Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome back to another in-depth review for Marvel Strike Force. Now today we have our second Brotherhood of Mutants review and we will be having a look at Juggernaut. Now in the video, to help you decide if he's worth investing in, there's various sections we cover. The first one is simple enough. It's an overview of how you unlock him and also his tags, because the tags are relevant as to what campaign he can help out in and what modes he can help out in as well. We'll then have a look at his stats. Next up it's the abilities. During that section I'll let you know how high you actually want to take his abilities. We'll then have a look at the synergies, that's characters you want to avoid and characters he can work well with, and then finally we'll see where he places in the tier list as well. So we start off anyway with the general overview. Juggernaut then is a protector class, although in a lot of ways he's very similar to Crossbones in that he is there to tank to an extent, but he can actually put out an insane amount of damage as well. Now when we look at his tags, it's Villain, Global, Mystic, Protector and also Brotherhood, so he's not a mutant, that's why he doesn't have that tag. I see this come up quite a lot. He gets his power from a mystical nature and that's the reason he's got the Mystic tag there, so that can be great for that particular campaign. The Brotherhood tag will be exceptionally important because they look like they're going to be one of the strongest teams for burst damage in the game once we have all of those characters. Now in regards to unlocking them, we had the extremely overpriced packs that were in the store. On top of that as well, if you're free to play, we can get them via the legendary event and there will also be a raid for them as well. So hopefully through that, even if you're free to play, you can probably get them to 4-star, maybe 5-star at a push there. Now next up, let's have a look at his stats. When we look at his offensive stats then, they do look a bit disappointing in the first instance. However, he can, despite that, put out a huge amount of damage. Now his damage base stats are very middle of the road, they come in at C. His speed is way down, it's down at 77, so that's a rank F there, and it does hurt him to an extent because it means a lot of our characters will get their attacks off before he can put his taunt up, and for that reason in some ways I like to actually pair him up with another tank who can take some of the aggro first. But when you put him in a Brotherhood team, you shouldn't really have too much of a problem with the speed. Now also from an offensive perspective, you have his focus, that's down at F, but it's not relevant because he's not applying any kind of debuffs or he's not cleansing targets of their buffs. Also from an offensive perspective as well, you have the charge system he uses where he can gain up to 4 charges to get a huge damage boost on his ultimate, and that gives him an exceptionally high multiplier, and that's where he's putting out the most of his damage will be through that ultimate, which we'll look at later on. Now next up, let's check out his defensive stats, and he does a lot better here. Defense wise then, as you would expect, Juggernaut does exceptionally well. Now if we look at his health, it's way up at an A rating, so that's in the region of around about 97,000 health he would have at level 70 and 7-star. His armour is one of the highest ratings in the game, so it's over 5,500, that's an A rating as well, and also his resistance is really nice, that's up at a B, and he also gets a boost to that resistance as well that would probably take it close to an A rating as well. The resistance is very important because it will make it hard for other characters to actually copy or cleanse his buffs. Now if we talk about the buffs he has, it's really pretty insane here. I don't think I've had a list as long as this in this section before. So he can gain defense up, he has immunity, that's the new buff we have. Now with immunity it means the enemy can't apply debuffs to you, so that's really great. He has death proof, regenerate, an additional 5% max health, which is really awesome with the huge pool he already has, an additional 10% resistance as well, more than likely bumping him up to an A rating there, and then he's got a whopping 1000% stun resistance that's active all the time. That essentially means he's immune to stun, so really great from a defensive perspective there. Now what we'll do next, we'll have a look at his abilities. First ability we look at here then is his passive called I'm the Juggernaut, so they've obviously cut that short there, that one. Now with this, on turn you gain charged up to a maximum of 4 on spawn you clear all but one stack of charged. If any charge were cleared, you fill speed bar by 40%. And what that essentially means is that if you're running them in a raid, you'll have these full stacks of charge on one node. Once you go into the next one, you'll lose the charged, but to compensate for that, you'll get 40% of your speed bar filled up. So from the perspective of raids, and I suppose Dark Dimensions as well, although it's unlikely you'll have the one team that's running through multiple nodes, but it's really nice from a raid perspective there. Now also, and this is the Brotherhood part where it comes in, is if Magneto is an ally, when an enemy attacks this character you fill speed bar by 20%, which is really interesting. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Then you have the gain 5% max health, gain 10% resistance, and the gain 1000% resistance against stun. Again, essentially making them stun immune. Now with this skill it was quite a difficult one to figure out what to do, because when you're at level 3 you gain 10% speed bar when you're attacked if Magneto is an ally. When you upgrade it to level 5 you're getting the full 20%. Now on the surface that seems fantastic, but we have to remember that Juggernaut is a tank, and that's one of the reasons his speed is a little bit slower, because you want tanks to be a little bit on the slower side, because it then means they're tanking and they're taunting for longer. Now one thing that balances this out, and we'll see it later on in the video, is that through Magneto you actually taunt up for 2 turns. So if you add all this up, the 2-turn taunt and the fact that you'll have a multitude of characters attacking you and filling that speed bar by 20%, the taunt with Magneto will probably work out very similar to a 1-turn taunt, but it means out with when he's taunting that his speed bar will be filling up quicker and he'll be gaining energy quicker for the awesome ultimate. It's quite hard to explain and I hope that made sense, but essentially what you want to do is you want to max this out and take it to level 5. The next ability we look at here is the basic. This is called Overwhelming Blow. So with this, you attack primary target for 290% damage and you gain 1 charged up to a maximum of 4 when you use it as well. So bear in mind that he gains a turn of charge on his turn as well. So if you're using the basic, you're essentially gaining 2 turns of charge, so that's really nice there. Now also with this you gain ability energy, and the attack cannot be blocked, so it means it works exceptionally well against the likes of, let's say, Captain America or Shield Security. It would work really nice against them. Now in regards to how high you want to take it, I personally say you want to max this one out, because at level 6 you only have the 80% chance to gain ability energy, and with Juggernaut you really want to charge him up as quickly as you can to make the most of them and get that ult that you can fire off again. So take this one up to level 7. For the special we have what is one of the best taunts in the game. This is called Immovable Object. Now it is a huge 8 turns to charge. You have to bear in mind though that with the basic every turn of course you're gaining an extra charge of a skill, but when you use the basic as well, which you will be using relatively often, then you're gaining the ability energy as well. So in a roundabout way, if you're using the basic, you can cut the charge times of your special and ultimate in half here, so they're not as bad as they initially look. Now with this you gain taunt and defense up for 2 turns, you gain immunity, death proof, you gain regen for 2 turns, and if Magneto is an ally you gain taunt for 2 turns as well. So remember earlier on in the video we talked about that 2-turn taunt with Magneto. It won't last as long because your speed bar will be getting filled up. Now in regards to how high you want to take this skill, if you're running them with Magneto you must take it up to level 6 at a minimum, because at level 6 you get the defense up for 2 turns, and that's very important because you'll be taunting for 2 turns. The difference between level 6 and level 7 is only 1 stack of regenerate, so if you're running them with a healer in a team I wouldn't bother with that at all. Potentially if you feel you need it, and I would test them out first, but if you feel you need it, take it up to level 7, but I'm going to sit on level 6 for this and see how I get on. Final ability we look at here is a really awesome one. This is called Crushing Charge. Now it's 8 turns to charge and comes with 6 charges, meaning you can use it on your second turn. Now if we look at the specifics, you attack the primary and adjacent targets for 380% damage, and damage is increased by 80% per charge, so you can get up to 4 charges, meaning that if you have the full 4 charges you do a whopping 700% damage with this. Also the attack cannot be blocked, so this is your anti-shield security and Captain America skill here. Now I'll mention, and I don't normally do this, but I'll mention in regards to rotation you want to use these skills, is you'll start off with the taunt, Now on the next turn the ultimate will be available, but you actually only have 2 turns of charge in it, so you want to use the basic, and that means the next turns he gets, you'll have the 4 turns of charge, fire off the ultimate, and then you're getting this 700% damage on it, and it really is incredible. And actually Magneto pulls characters together, so it can make it even more potent. Now in regards to how high you want to take it, at level 6 you can still actually do 620% damage, so myself, again I'm going to hold on to it for level 6 for the time being. If you're an absolute crazy Juggernaut fan, then by all means take it up to level 7, but it's still very powerful at level 6 there. Now with all the abilities covered, let's have a look at his synergies. When we look at his synergies, the most obvious one and where he really does shine is if you place him in a Brotherhood team alongside Magneto. Now despite that, there are setups you can use that you can actually get some nice results out of him from. Now one of the first ones I've been playing around with is pairing him up with another character that could give him ability energy so you can charge that ultimate up quicker. And something I should actually mention that I didn't in the last section is once you get your full 4 stacks of charge, they don't drop off, so they stay up there. So if you can get the ultimate round as quickly as possible, again you'll be doing that full 700% damage if you maxed it out. Now characters that could help him out in this respect would be Star-Lord and also Jessica Jones. Unfortunately with Thanos he's just providing energy to, let's see, it's cosmic characters, otherwise he would be a perfect fit there. Now because Juggernaut in a way is almost like a hybrid brawler stroke protector, you can get nice results if you run him with another tank. A good example would be Drax, because Drax taunts up at the start of the match, meaning it would take all the aggro, because it can take Juggernaut a while to actually get his taunt up if he's outside the Brotherhood team. And Magneto and also Captain America can work out nice as well. He can get the defense up and the taunt on the first turn. Now next up, let's have a look at the characters you want to avoid. When we look at characters you want to avoid, they fall into 2 categories. It's characters that can ability block him before he can throw his taunt up, or characters that can clear his taunt. Now despite us having quite a long list of characters here, I'll mention the fact that because his resistance is very high, there is a good chance that he will be able to resist the cleanse that some of these characters do. Now the first character is Jessica Jones. She can cleanse all the positive effects on an ally. Black Widow can be exceptionally dangerous because she not only cleanses them, but she steals them. That can be really dangerous there. Hawkeye can cleanse all positive effects as well. You have the combination of Magneto and Pyro that will result in all your positive effects being cleansed, and then you have Magneto and Mystique where all the positive effects can be copied, however they won't be cleansed. The most dangerous character there, without a doubt, I would say it's Black Widow, and she's a great counter to him. We then have Ultimus, and he actually does additional damage through his ultimate based on the number of buffs a character has, so you could look at him adding somewhere in the region of about 1500% extra damage, so that would potentially even one-shot Juggernaut there, although I suppose he does have the death proof. That would keep him alive with the smallest amount of health. Now onto the characters that could ability block him. So you've got Ant-Man and Venom, they've both got ability block for 2 turns, and then you've got Vision as well. Now although they can stop him from taunting, that is a bit of a double-edged sword, because what happens is on the first turn they will actually apply their ability block, meaning he can't taunt and he has to use the basic. But what that actually means when you're going up against AI Juggernaut is on the next turn his ultimate will be available and he'll have 3 charges in it, so he could be doing potentially, what is it, 620% damage if you do ability block him on the second turn. So that's something you really need to look out for. You could also, I suppose, apply the offence down via Vision on that second turn. That would actually work out really nice there. Now with all the synergies covered, let's have a look and see where he places in the tier list. With this tier list section then, what I'll do is I'll actually run over his pros and cons before we do place him, and then I'll explain how high he would jump up through synergies as well. We're seeing that happen more and more often with characters now. Now if we look at the pros first, then he certainly does have a lot of them. You've got his incredible defensive stats that when you add in the passives and so on, almost all of them come out at close to, if not an A rating, which is amazing. You have his great synergies with Magneto. Now something I've not mentioned yet, but with Magneto he actually gives Brotherhood allies an additional 15% health, so that's really great for Juggernaut. He can fill up the speed bar, and he also pulls the enemies together, which works exceptionally well with Juggernaut's ultimate. You've got the fact that he is building up charges, but he actually keeps the charges, so he's not like, let's say, Black Panther or Storm or so on, where they use their skill and they lose the charges. He keeps them, which means he keeps getting stronger, and that's the way Juggernaut should be. He's unstoppable. He has the unblockable attacks, that's on his, let's see, it's his basic and also his ultimate. He's got the incredible 700% damage he does through his ultimate. He's immune to stun, and he also generates energy on his downtime via his basic, meaning that although his skills in the first instance look like they have long cooldowns, you can actually get them up relatively quick again. Although I'll mention, if you defeat an enemy, you don't get energy, so that's something you need to watch out for, and something that really bugs me in game, to be honest, when that happens. Now, when we look at his cons, he really doesn't have many at all, but it is a pretty big con. You've got his speed, which was way down at 77. If you do pair him up with Magneto, you can certainly fix that through the attacks filling up your speed bar by 20% per time, and Magneto can actually apply speed up to Brotherhood characters when he's hit by a crit as well, so really the Brotherhood synergy can really help out there. Also, from a negative perspective, you have the fact that he is quite tough to run on his own outside the Brotherhood team because his speed is so slow. A lot of characters in the game are pretty quick now. You could find some of your important characters that actually nuke down before he's got a chance to taunt up at all, but again, that can be fixed by running him with another tank. So run him with the likes of Drax, for example, and then you don't have to worry about that at all. Now, with all that in mind, I would say that on his own he would actually place as a low level alpha character. Through synergies with the Brotherhood and like the rest of the Brotherhood characters, he really does look like he'll be incredible when they're all paired together, so I would say he would jump up as many as 5 slots, making him a high Omega character when you pair him up with the Brotherhood, and specifically Magneto. He really is incredible with them, and he'll be a complete and utter powerhouse. He really will be. Now, let me know in the comments below if you've actually unlocked Juggernaut. If not, if you're running through the campaign, how you're getting on, and if there's any levels you're having trouble with, let me know and I can give you some advice as well. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.